goodness. There we go. Hello. See, and this is like, oh, this is annoying. No, wrong way. There we go. There. Perfect. Enough. Even though it is a little. See, oh my gosh. I should have just left it. I should have just left it as it was. You know what? I'm just gonna. Why are you not working? It's too late for me to be live. This is a struggle. Anyway, this will give me the perfect opportunity. It's 10 p.m. to try this out. So I got a new deck. It's the deck of many things and the deck of many fates. And it's an RPG deck. So it's meant for like if you're playing a game. But I love to use things as, whatever. Anything can be a tool if you use it in the right way. And if you're imaginative and creative enough. So I got my second little table here to keep all the cards. And I actually told Reem and Russ, I think, about this idea. I can't remember if I mentioned it to Rob or not. But I had the thought to like not necessarily run it as a campaign, but to almost run it as a campaign. And to like, gonna start from the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. There were a few, like maybe the Sweat Lodge, but like upper, middle, lower world for sure, Vision Quest, maybe even Ghost Dance, things that start somewhere or they carry the energy of journeys. I was gonna have those, and then I was gonna separate out the archetypes into the settings, the items, and I guess the aspect itself, and then use the deck of many fates and many things to sort of like be different things that we encounter along the way. And then the cooperative component, I guess, it's like if you wanted to pull your own card and see almost like using those cards, how you would interpret how you navigate that energy in that situation. I don't know. It's like not it's like 3/4 baked in my brain. And there are some things that like until I actually do it, I wouldn't even know. So not gonna do necessarily the full thing. But I did want to at least try this to see what an attempt at that would look like. So I got the little extra trade table so I can set all these decks off to the side. I do have to like separate all these, but I was like, might as well do it live. Because ooh, the peacock. The peacock and the hawk. The peacock? Ooh, the fire ants and the peacock. Ooh, that was a good shuffle. Did y'all see that? Could you see that? Maybe not. That was another good one. Can I get one more? Maybe I shouldn't get greedy. Look at me acting like I know how to shuffle all of a sudden. Wait, all of a sudden, like I haven't been practicing. So you see the many things and the many fates. Oops. I didn't even know this came out. Hello? I haven't decided if I want to combine them or keep them separate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then after I separate these cards out, I can keep them separate. So hopefully I don't try to use them for anything. And also, I got a storage unit, so I've been able to move some stuff and actually use more of my room. So instead of all the cards being up top, I got a little multi-tiered cabinet thingy from Walmart, and I put my decks in that. So I can have access to more of them now, but we'll see. I don't know which is which. These are the fates. Oops. These are the things. And then I'm going to separate these out. And I was thinking of also doing like a pick a card style, like pick a journey, like I was talking about, starting with the different mystical shaman oracle cards. But obviously, that won't be tonight. Not obviously, but that won't be tonight. I think it's 1 to 30, 31 to 50, 51 to 70, and then 71 plus. I feel like that's like tilted or something. What's that? 64. That's 59. So these are settings. 31 to 60 are settings. 61 to no. These are things. LXIV. LIX 59. These are things. And then 71 to 78 are like different phases in life. 1 to 30 are parts of the self. And then the settings, that's 31 to 50. 31 to 50, 51 to 70, and then 71 to 78. Now, a lot of these, because of what they are, it's easier to know as well. The flame, the judge, Alethea, the shadow, the mountain, the vessel, the healer, the poet, the venom, number 63. 68, the mirror. That's funny because Cindy got the mirror for Pisces. That box card used to come out all the time when I first got this deck. The ocean, the crone, the mystic, forest, the destroyer, the gem. Should be here. The shapeshifter, the sustainer, the cave, the child, the vision, 40, 55. I know Roman numerals, but this deck puts it to the test. I'm like, oof, hold up. Is that 40 or 60? The underworld is definitely a place. The orphan, the river, 34, that's a place. The tier, 52, that is a thing. Warrior, the empty room. Eros, the fault line is 49, that's a place. The mentor, the vow. The king, the maiden, the shaman, the village, the nectar. Oh, I should have pulled this book out. The desert, the ring, agape, the mask, 61. The temple, 39. The animal, heart, 31. The womb, 46. Thanatos. The Threshold. 45. The Stone, that's a thing. Number 67. Kairos. Apocalypsis. Yep. The Storm is 47. The Bridge is 38. The Riddle, 53. The Lover. The Bardo, 50. The Prayer, 65. And then the Father. The Father, the Bardo, and the Prayer. With Apocalypsis at the top of all this. That's interesting. So these are now separated. I think I want to get like an aspect of self where we start and one where we end. The Shapeshifter and the Queen. Oh, that was a siren. Oof. I got the table, but I don't know if the table is going to be enough room. The Bardo. I didn't even know what a Bardo was. I had to read the book on that one. And the Bardo is a liminal space. It's an in-between space. And I guess that's interesting because recently on this channel, the Two of Orbs came out. And the Two of Orbs is the Two of Pentacles, but it's the energy of like making the transition between an old life and a new life as smooth as possible. And then the Ace of Orbs came out with one message at that time, but later it was sort of like the new world actually peeking into the old world, or I guess vice versa. But it was like not necessarily an emissary of that, but it's almost like finding yourself in a space before you were even necessarily like completely ready for it, or before you anticipate it. Almost like it could happen before you would have thought it would happen. And then the Stone is there. The Stone reminds me of, I think it's the Omphalo Stone, the one that Gaia fed to Cronus instead of baby Zeus. And so baby Zeus grew up on the island, like off of Crete or whatever, raised by, I don't remember. But at a certain point, he freed his brothers and sisters from the belly of Cronus, and then they like castrated them and deposed the Titans and took over Mount Olympus or whatever. These, I guess I'll leave here, but I don't. Whenever I separate them out, I don't necessarily like to use 71 through 78. Here it is, the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. So since I'm only going to do one of these, I'm going to give this a shuffle and then a few cuts. And we'll see if the card feels like the Time Master and the Arrow. We'll see if the card feels like a starting point. The Time Master and Taming the Winds. The Rainmaker and Taming the Winds. I guess I'll keep shuffling. Where are we starting? Mystical Shaman, please inform me. And usually there are choices and options, right? And if I were to do this how I imagined it, then I would do that. So let's see. Maybe I'll timestamp. I'll timestamp after I get a card and we'll see. Maybe I should pull up my phone. Mystical Shaman, where are we starting? I guess we're all starting at the same place, and then the journeys will The smoky mirror. That's interesting. Hey, Elaine, how are you doing tonight? The smoky mirror, Pachamama, and Taming the Wind. The smoky mirror is interesting because Cindy, in Pisces, she had the mirror, and I was talking about Neptune's bells, and then Russ said something about the smoky mirror, and the smoky mirror came out. But that's not what I was looking for. The council at the bottom of the deck. 47, which is an 11. That's interesting. I feel like that's a message in itself. How are you doing tonight, Elaine? You're good. I am tired. And as I'm smoking, I'm definitely ready for bed. I'm becoming less tired as I do this, though. There is an energy here. With the smoky mirror, there's an energy of not being able to see oneself clearly. With the energy of the council here, I mean, the council is what the council is. Maybe there's an energy of becoming. It's almost like being incarnate on Earth gives us the ability to decide how we want to use our gifts, in what ways, to make those choices and decisions, which is interesting because I kind of talked about something similar ish earlier today. Like, it's one thing to have the gift and ability, but how do you use it? How do you serve? Who do you serve? How often? And so it almost feels like an ability to an opportunity. It feels like an opportunity to almost specialize in some way. And then with the council energy, it's like when there's a doctor or an engineer or a scientist or whoever who is especially um, recognized in their field, then they may be called in for some special type of advising. And that's what this feels like. But this is the energy of becoming the person who would be asked for this counsel. But that's not what I was looking for. So that is not. Oh, second time you've heard of the council today. Oh, well, council energy. That must be yours. I haven't heard of much today. I feel like. Yeah, there's a council. Oh, the luminous warrior is behind the council. Yeah, I feel like that's like exactly what I was saying. Pretty much. Basically. Hey, Vicky. I have not forgotten about you, girl. How are you doing tonight? Soul retrieval. That soul retrieval card. Okay, where are we starting this mystical shaman? Oh, the hummingbird. You're not a place to start either. The hummingbird and the sun. What? Do 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 do. And they're both the number 8. 53 8, 26 8. The hummingbird can be in front of the sun. The bottom of the deck is the coyote, which is number 12. This deck is just not going to cooperate with me, is it? Can we start for the hummingbird in this one? I'm actually going to do this a little different than I had anticipated. I'm not going to take the coyote. Glad to hear it. Yeah, this week has been like, I always feel like I'll get better with time management and with life. But then things happen and I just don't. So I'm actually going to see. I guess this is what you can choose. So I'm going to take my face away now because, like, I'm literally in the way. And the hummingbird is so bright you can, like, barely see it. But that's the hummingbird. Know that hummingbird is over here under the shadow of my laptop. Yeah, me too. I'm just like, because sometimes I'll be tired throughout the week, but if I don't do my homework, I'll have to do it on the weekend when I'm off. And then if I'm doing homework when I'm off, I don't really feel like I'm off. And so it feels like I just keep going and I'm just like, oh. So I took Tuesday off. And then one of my friends sent me a video. It was like, oh, I'm not coming in tomorrow. PTO. Prepare the others because I'm not coming in. It's like funny. Okay. So here we go. I'm looking for my notes app so I can put these timestamps down. Timestamps. Oh, I haven't used this note in a minute. I haven't done a sign thing in a minute either. I was actually talking to Rob earlier today. I'm like, oh, I gotta finish like the runes and then finish the this and then finish the that. So we'll do the sun and the hummingbird. So since neither one of these is a place, I'm going to use a setting card to see like where the sun is, where the hummingbird is, and then we'll continue. I think I'm going to run through the sun in its entirety first. So I'm actually going to move the hummingbird off to the side. I'll move it here. We'll just put the sun in the middle. This is the night to make it right. And you can see my little board. It's fine. It is what it is. Yes. I was like, because this is my first job since I've gotten my degree. And so it's like the first, because I've worked on campus a lot. So it's like the first time I've had vacation days. And I was like, oh, I like PTO. What? I get to not come to work and still get paid. Hello? What? And then I use like, when I use sick time, I was like, what? I still get paid and I don't have to come to work. Thank you. I will take that. I'm just like, man, I wish I could I wish I had a month accumulated. Anyway. Hey Steph, how you doing tonight? How are you? I was actually thinking, Steph, because I remember I ended up watching that live that Rob did when you called in. And I know you said that you found like community in Canada. And then I was just like, and I know you said you were like thinking about going back. I don't know what the logistics are about travel or anything like that, but I was like, I mean, if you're able to go back and you have the desire, like, why not look into it? See, maybe something will be there for you. And I was like, next time I see Steph, I should ask her about Canada. So thank you for being here so I can ask you about Canada, even though I didn't necessarily ask. 2440 for the sun. Do, 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 do. See, this is going to work slightly differently. I am from cornfields and soybeans, not Chicago, Illinois. Elaine. Oh, Yeah, I know Russ said that Canada's travel restrictions right now are like really stringent. Oh, and a passport. Gotcha. I did see something. Excuse me. I think it was last year. Something about Canada wanting like new residents or whatever. And so they were assisting people who wanted to like live there or relocate there or like work there. Or they were making it easy for people to like become citizens of Canada. You live in Arizona. Oh, snap. That sounds like deserts to me. You're going back to Florida after Thanksgiving. Well, I hope you enjoy it. And Thanksgiving is coming up quick. So, where's the sun? Oh, okay. I'm going to leave this as a mystery. Where the sun is. I'll also get one of these. Actually, I'll look at it. Oof, I picked the wrong card. I was supposed to pick these. Those are the people cards. Yeah. And it is time. I think sometimes it's nice for us to be able to go and really explore ourselves um, without like holding up to or living up to like the pressures and expectations of those around us, or just like when we have to sacrifice for the sake of just like being available. And so it's like, even though the situation and the circumstances may not be the most favorable, you have the opportunity right now to really go and explore and find who you are. And then if you ever go back, you can go back as you and then see how those dynamics play out then. So where's the sun? I love that the queen has like this big old sort of like, I would say it's full moon, but maybe it's the sun energy here. I mean, the same thing is here. So in that sense, in the it's almost like the feminine and masculine side of the sun, even though this is, I think, a feminine figure. Well, it could be either feminine or masculine. Where is the sun? There we go. The threshold. This is interesting. It does remind me of when the solar plexus came out twice. And it feels like the threshold, it is in like solar masculine, solar feminine. It's the space where they meet. I'm not necessarily sure what either one of those are though, as energies. And so I'm gonna grab one of these just to like describe this to me. You did a meditation today and fell asleep. You asked the owl to sit on your shoulder and show you what you needed to see, and asked your ancestors to come in with your spirit team. I don't know why I wanted to shuffle it like that. I'm just like really pushing all the everything today. What is this energy? I'll take them. No, I'm not taking them actually. This is weird. And you saw what happened that almost cost you your life. What? And you had sleep paralysis? But it was cool because now you know the truth. Oh, wow. And the owl showed up twice in the last 2 days. I feel like owl has been an energy that, just like in general, overall, I've been seeing a lot more of lately and hearing a lot more of. And it almost does remind me. There was a video that Reem actually did a while ago, now that I think about it. And it was something about like being able to see in the dark or being able to see things that we weren't able to see before. But it had one of those energies where it was like it didn't necessarily reveal like what it was or what we would see. I haven't thought about that in a minute. I don't even remember like who or where that was. So there's this energy here. It's almost like even the dark is sunlight. Because these it's like the sun is still there even when we turn away from it. And when it's dark here, it's like it's light on the other side of the planet. So somewhere on earth is always experiencing light. And it's not that the moon is necessarily the feminine side of the sun, but the moon does reflect sunlight to earth when we turn away from it. And so I think it's time. I'll ask Siri to flip a coin. If Siri says heads, I'll grab a thing. If Siri says tails, I'll grab a fate. I think these are fates and these are things. There are more fates than things. No, so it's the other way. Fates and things. Oh, snap. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I think that is one of the that's why sometimes I'll honestly be like, I wish that like journeys didn't have to be so rough sometimes to get us to see the things that we need to see. But I guess depending on how who is vacuuming at nearly 11 o'clock at night, the same woman who cooks at like 10:30 at night. I got a text. I woke up. It said food's done. I was asleep, and it was a good food too. It was a good food. I was like, what? I was looking forward to eating that, but now I'm not even gonna be able to eat it because I fell asleep before 10:30. Sorry, sorry. But yeah, I wish we didn't have to experience so much to move. But I think sometimes we just like I don't know if it's our comfort zones or if it's us just not moving before we're forced to. But I'm glad to hear that you're coming out of the rabbit hole and you're feeling stronger and more awakened now, hopefully, to the truth of you. So let's see. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Maybe. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Wow, Siri, hello. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Tails.
So we're grabbing these. I think these are the fates. I don't know why Britney Spears Stronger Than Yesterday just popped into my mind. Stronger than yesterday. Oh, Bastion and Doppelganger. So Bastion says for the next 24 hours, you are completely impervious to physical harm. And then Doppelganger says this card comes to life as an identical version of you, including skills, memories, and equipment, except with the opposite alignment. And I feel like this Doppelganger it's pulling off of that energy where it was like even the night is sunlight or something like that. And the only way I can rationalize the night still being sunlight is through the moon reflecting sunlight. But there is an almost Jira energy here where it's like the morning and the night is a day, right? Like we refer to a 24-hour day as a day. There's also daytime and nighttime, but like sometimes when we reference the day, it includes the night or the that period of night, even though we don't explicitly say it, right? So like if you say, "Oh, it's been a whole day since I've seen somebody," or "since I've done this," or "since I've done that," the assumption is that we're including the night in that, like it's been a full 24 hours, not just, "Oh, like I did it at night." So like technically it wasn't like during the day, so it was a day ago. The last time it was sunlight, I didn't do this or something. I don't know, some kind of weird semantic energy. You've had sleep paralysis before, but you don't know what that means. I know somebody asked that question on somebody's live recently, and I don't remember what the answer was. I've only had sleep paralysis a few times, and I don't know like what it meant either. But I never really had the thought to look into it, especially at that point in time. So I have no clue. Bastion is an interesting energy though, because it says like no one, it says you're completely impervious to physical harm, but it doesn't mention mental or emotional pain. And this feels like a mental back and forth energy. So maybe there's this energy here with the sun being at the threshold. There's something about almost like putting the self together. And it's like realizing that our darkness is a part of us. It's not necessarily separate. It's all who we are. Even when we're not necessarily shining, even when we're not at our best, even when we act out of character, it's still us. And so although like there could be an energy of like a financial stability or a health stability, it is almost this energy where it's like the problem lies elsewhere because of something that's unresolved. And so in that it almost carries an energy of like that imbalance of humors where it's like how a physical ailment sometimes could be caused by like internal unrest. I do want to see. So this is going to move us forward. Oh, it's the talisman. Magical map shifter at the bottom. I haven't really been taking the bottoms. I haven't been feeling led to. The top card on the right, this is the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, the Sun? This is the Sun card. I forget that it's flipped. So let me do this really quick. Let me do this so you can see it how I see it. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I did this on the other one, but I didn't do it on this one. There you go. It's the Sun. Hey, Holly, how you doing tonight? So the talisman makes sense for this energy because again, Bastion, it protects from physical harm, but it doesn't protect from like anything else. It makes you impervious to physical harm. And it feels like the talisman is an energy that tries to help us. It doesn't. Oh, talisman and rescue. Okay. The talisman doesn't help us resolve this conflict, but it feels like the talisman helps protect us from the what's like sort of stirred up from within by the conflict. Or that's the point to. Oh, glad to hear it, Holly. It's like it's intended to protect us from the mental turmoil or angst and emotional chaos. I want to see. So, an animal that brings a thing to assist us. Or like just what's. I'll do the animal after. So, what's the thing? Oh, the talisman. Duh. The thing. So, what is this talisman? Or what is the energy of the talisman more specifically? And then what animal is coming to the rescue? So what is the talisman? Oh gosh. That's funny because I literally saw the nectar card and I was like, I should get the book. The nectar and the ring. This is 57 and 58. Or 58 and 57. 58 is a 13, 49 is a 13, 57 is a 12. What's the animal that's coming to the rescue here? there is, it's almost like a highly protected, it's an energy of, I guess, trying to highly protect oneself and seeking certain comforts, but it feels like it obscures our ability to, I don't know, because I'm looking at the black and white here and how the white is like surrounded by these little black things and this giant flower that grows in the middle of it. And it feels like this flower, it obscures our ability to see this duality for what it is, like as it is, without like judgment or whatever projected onto it. And it's like it's this commitment to the sweeter things in life. It reminds me of there's a card in the Threads of Fate Oracle cards that I'm reminded of so often. But it's like we crave peace and we crave lightness and sweetness so much that we don't sometimes actually do the things that will bring it to us. We don't actually resolve this turmoil and this conflict here. We just seek out sort of like these talismans and energies that prevent us from feeling sort of the fallout of it. It's like if you would resolve the thing, then you wouldn't even need the talisman and you would have this thing, or life itself would become sweeter without you exerting so much effort to make it so. And maybe that's an energy, maybe like even the night is sunlight. Again, it goes back to that energy of like, even when we are sort of out of character, even when we are in a difficult situation, even if we find ourselves in hard times, what we do when we're there is still us. Like, yes, maybe it's inspired by the situation, event, circumstances happening, what someone said, etc. But what we do is still us because it's like we did it. And if it wasn't within us to do, it wouldn't have been done. It's like when people say that opportunity makes a thief. And it's almost like if opportunity was going to make you a thief, you were already a thief to begin with. You were just waiting for the opportunity to be so. And in that, it almost does have an energy of like almost seeking out those opportunities to be something. It's like seeking out excuses. It's like, oh, well, I'm only like this because you did whatever, you said whatever. And maybe I'm calling myself out a little bit. Oh, the queen is number 11. I didn't even notice that. The queen is 11. The threshold is 45. 45 is a 9, which is about being at the end, but not yet at the beginning. A talisman is something magical that is used for a certain purpose, or something imbued with the magic used for a certain purpose. So a lot of things can be talismans for different people. What animal is coming to the rescue here? Ooh, the energies lately. What animal is coming to the rescue? Oof, maybe you get snow rescue. Why did I'd rather rescue myself. Cheetah girl Cinderella. I don't wanna be like Cinderella, sitting in a dark, cold, dusty cellar, waiting for somebody to come and set me free. But if you'd rather rescue yourself, it's like at some point, shouldn't you get to the rescuing? The whale with the rabbit at the bottom of the deck. I'm actually gonna take the bottom this time, and the elk is behind that. The well speaks of something deep. Oof. The well speaks of something deep. The rabbit is coming out with an energy of something that's motivated by fear. The rabbit carries a message in this deck that is almost one of a negative self fulfilling prophecy. In the story of the rabbit, it's like the rabbit's like, oh, the eagle's going to eat us, the eagle's going to eat us, the eagle's going to eat us. And one day an eagle is flying overhead and it hears the rabbit say that an eagle is going to eat it. And so then the eagle gets the idea to eat the rabbit. And it's almost this energy. It's like, well, if you didn't put it out there, it wouldn't have come to be. And with whale energy, it feels like a deep emotional, it would have to be a wound of some nature. But there's like some deep emotional underlying cause that motivates everything we do or everything that is done here. And so maybe there are times where it's like we really think that, like, oh, like, that's not me, it's not me, it's not me. But it's like, oh, yeah, but it is. You just can't see that it's not you. And it is almost reminding me of that smoky mirror energy that came out first in the mystical shaman oracle cards. It's like who you are when you're afraid and what you do when you're afraid. Like that's still you, right? It's like if you're drunk or you're intoxicated, while you may have been in an altered state of mind, like you're still responsible for what you do. You're still responsible for your actions and you're still going to be held responsible. And maybe there's something within this doppelganger energy where it's like the persona that someone puts out or the life that they try to live versus the truth of who they are. It's like there's a lot of conflict there. And then maybe this talisman energy, it's like all of the things that they do to try to like preserve their image in some way. I feel like in a less toxic sort of way, almost be like an inside out, like the movie type of energy where like there are people in your life, especially with this nine of pentacles, it's like there are people in your life who see you as like you always have it together or who depend on you having it together or who depend on you like being happy and available to them. And so what it does is it puts you in a position where you have less time and you feel more pressured to like have it together to the point where you don't allow yourself to fully feel or process the things that you need to feel and process. And it's not even necessarily because you think it makes you weak. It's just that like people depend on me to be one thing or I'm expected to be one thing. And so for me to be anything less than that, it's like it's unacceptable. Maybe honestly, you just don't have the time. You like don't have the time for yourself because you're so invested in everybody else, or like your time is your energy is so demanded from everyone else. And so the threshold, it's almost coming out as this energy where it's like the point where your well is running dry or your cup is like empty. It's like you're literally at the bottom of the barrel, trying like at the bottom of the well, trying to make more water magically manifest. And that plays more into the energy of the queen. Also, there's an XIIX energy. It's the mirror frequency, the mirror energy that again comes out here. And it is almost, I think, especially for people who find themselves in a caregiving role, like when they do have to take care of themselves or if they have to say no, then I feel like that introduces a whole internal conflict where it's like they feel selfish, or like if they think that that's part of their worth or their value, then like, well, like if I'm not helping people, then like what good am I? Or whatever. And it's like, well, if your cup isn't full, you're not going to be able to give to the fullness of your capacity anyway. So it actually helps other people more when you help yourself so that you can help them better. You know what I mean? Like the better the position you are in, like mentally, emotionally, energetically, like the you'll be able to show up when it's needed. And I don't even know if there's necessarily anyone who would like make you feel bad for taking your you time. I mean, if they are, then those are people who, need to understand that sometimes you got to take time to put yourself back together and to heal yourself and to be there for yourself. Especially, it seems like a lot of people who like help other people and heal other people, they don't necessarily experience the same in return from other people. So then it's that like, well, who heals the healers? Who makes time for the people who make time for everyone else? Who's there to help them pick up the pieces? Or who's there to help the people who help everyone else pick up their pieces, pick up their own pieces? And sometimes it is something that we learn to do within ourselves. And like you're not selfish, you're not worth less, you're not like a terrible person because you need to take time for yourself. And it also, along that vein, it feels like there are things within self that it's time for you to explore. Because now it's coming out of this, as this energy almost where it's like you haven't even seen the fullness of who you are because you've been so wrapped up in being so much for everyone else. And it's not that that isn't a part of you, but it's like you're more than just that. You know what I mean? And it feels like there's a lot of vitality, there's a lot of like passion for life, there's a lot hidden behind just like that, like not really giving yourself time. Like it feels like the self may be unexplored, and it may be intimidating, especially if you've never done it before. You may be more comfortable like helping other people, or like helping other people heal, or healing other people, rather than like you doing it like yourself. And but it feels like there's a timidity in that rabbit energy, but like a calming presence in well energy. It's like it's okay, like it's fine, you got this. It's almost like a guide or a friend who knows you very well, who knows your truth, and who will almost be there with you through that process of you finding the sweetness of who you are, again, like outside of what you do for everybody else. And maybe that leads to, I think that would be the beginning of a commitment to self. The beginnings of like a self-love journey, or to like really truly love oneself enough to also matter to you. Like other people matter, yes, but like you also matter, or you should matter to you. And when you matter to you, sometimes you're not able to just give and 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 never take the time to rest, or to not experience some kind of reciprocity. Maybe healthy boundaries are going to be something that you explore a little bit. And I think that's all the cards I had on the table. Yeah, oxygen mask on self first. Yeah. And maybe that's an energy that we don't necessarily have to sit in as much. It's like healers helping healers heal instead of healers having to heal themselves. Like, we still got to heal ourselves, but we can be sort of present there. Yeah. And it's something that I had to learn. Like, I feel like all of 2020, or the majority of 2020 for me, was like learning self love. And like, especially towards the end of the year, self love for me looks like not procrastinating. It was like getting my degree. And so like all of those things that I didn't like want to have to do, it's like, oh, like I don't want to sit down and do homework. I don't feel like doing this. I'm tired. And it was like, you know what? No excuses. I gotta do this. Because I'm worth the investment. And I'm glad I invested in myself because I love the position that I'm in now, making what I make. Sorry. But I do. And also just like to be in a position to do that for myself. And me doing that then, it's like it's something that I can take with me even now. Where it's like even if I'm a little bit off put by something or nervous about something, like if I know it's for my greater good or for my benefit, like even if I don't want to do it, like I will. Because I'm worth it to me. I'm worth inconvenience to me. Just like I'll inconvenience myself for everybody else. Okay, not necessarily everybody else, but I can inconvenience myself for others that I care about, to the point where, and that was it was a family thing that I got to participate in the breaking of, where it's like we give so much to everyone and everything else that when it comes time for us to give to ourselves, we're just like exhausted and there's nothing to give. But we can be scraping the bottom of the barrel for everybody else. And it's like, okay, something about this ain't right. Yeah, very much so, Holly. Very, very much so. So, son, where does this end up? Where do we leave the sun at the conclusion? Oh, that's way too many cards. But I will take this one. The dead end mountain. I'm gonna look at all of them. The womb and the castle. I mean, I guess there were a few different stories. This castle is interesting because this is the energy I was thinking of, and the one that oh, there's something about it, like it isolating itself. What was that? It protects itself. It locks itself away because of the fear of the outside world. But inside the castle, it's like it's dark. All the colors outside the castle. The dead end, the mountain, the womb, and the castle. The dead end is only a dead end for a certain period of time. The dead end is an energy where, as we are with what we have, we can go no further. The mountain is also the space. It's number 33. So we have 11, 33. Um, I think that's it. And the, what, 38? Well, no, that's 48. 48 is a 12. 47 is an 11. This is card 13, right? Or is that? That's a 49, 13. 13, 12, 11. Okay. I think earlier I said 48 was a. Oh, because that's 58. 58 is a 13. I was like, because I know earlier I said these are both 13. Anyway, with the mountain, with this in the mountain in particular, there is an energy where it's like we're presented with a task that's like daunting. We're presented with something that we feel like is beyond us. But it's this energy where like you don't even necessarily have to do it to completion to find what it is that you're looking for. And once you find this, the rest of the journey is made almost infinitely easy, or infinitely easier than it was before. It's like more doable. What was like impossible before becomes at least doable. Not necessarily like without exerting any effort, but you feel confident that you can get it done. I really love this womb energy, especially here on top of the whale and the rabbit, because it feels like that's it. It feels like this is it's starting to heal that deep emotional wound or that deep emotional trauma. And it's starting to heal it in a way that puts you in a position to like carry new life with that sun solar energy, that like vitality and vibrancy and like better days and stuff like that, right? And it's almost like instead of waiting until better days come, you put yourself in a position to make better days happen. And then again with the castle, the nectar, and the ring, when it's like to be in a position to only seek that which is pleasurable and enjoyable and beautiful. It's to like entrap oneself, basically, because there's a lot of life that isn't that. And it goes back to the energy of that one card. It's like sometimes in order to experience the truly sweet and satisfying, we have to do what may not necessarily be. Like we have to make choices and decisions in the now moment. We have to make those investments to actually have it come to pass. And this is 43. What, 43 and 53? No, that's 58. Goodness. 33. 43, 33. I was like, I knew it was 10 off of something. 43 and 33. It's weird because it's like we want it so much that we actually, in some ways, prevent it from happening. And again, it's because it's that energy of not willing to do what's necessary to make certain things a reality, rather than just constantly chasing it. And that's the thing about the talisman. It's like it doesn't do much to get us further along the journey, because at some point it's going to be too heavy to continue to carry. Like, look at all these little things. And especially if you're climbing up the mountain, it's like at some point this is going to be too heavy to carry, and you're going to have to let it go if you want to move forward. But if we're too afraid of that, then we just kind of sort of continue life overburdened. You do have it within you to create a lot of that which you wish to experience in a real way. Excuse me. In a real way that's less dependent upon external circumstances and whether or not you have this or have that. whatever. They don't know. Goodness, this is longer than I thought it would be. Wasn't necessarily trying to be on here for hours, but I did take a nap earlier. I took a few hours nap. I've been better with sleeping lately. I was like, what? Because last night I was like, I finished my homework last night. I'm in 2 classes, so I finished 1 class yesterday. And I was gonna watch the Pick an Ancestor reading that Russ did, but I was like, I'm so sleepy. And this video will be here in the morning when I wake up. So I'm gonna go to bed instead of forcing myself to stay awake. And tonight I'm like, oof. I'm just gonna go to bed. Oh, I did that earlier. I was like, you know what? The homework will still be here when I wake up. I'll just take a nap now and finish the homework later. Now, when it was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I was still doing homework, I was like, oof, I wish this was done earlier so I can actually feel like my day off is a day off. But it's fine. It got done regardless. And now here I am staying up later. So, yeah, very much so all that. Oops. All right, Hummingbird. Setting the stage for you. I think that's the thing about protection, though. And Elks was at the bottom of the deck. Elk was at the bottom of the deck under the rabbit. And the elk is about protection, especially through the elk rune, right? But it's like it can only protect you from like certain things, right? Like if you're protected, it's like the thing about Bastion is like it's protected from external forces, but it does nothing for what lies within oneself. And it's almost like how it's like a lot of great nations when they do finally crumble, or a lot of empires when they do finally like end, it's from the inside out. It isn't from anything outside that causes them to fall and crumble. They fall under their own weight, basically. And so work on that foundation, because if your foundation ain't strong, it'll get difficult. And Pluto is in Capricorn right now, so transforming foundations and whatnot. Excuse me, sorry. Oh, you're so sweet, honey. I'm sleepy. I didn't even eat. Why did she cook last night? It's so late. Why not today? Oh, and it was mashed potatoes too. Cold mashed potatoes just don't hit the same. I feel like I was just talking about mashed potatoes with Russ. Maybe he was talking about like milk and mash or something like that. I was like, milk and mash. I was like, what's a milk and mash? Like milk and mashed potato? Like drink a glass of milk, eat some mashed potatoes? Oh, look, the cave is at the bottom of the deck. And there's a cave in the mountain, see? But I feel like there's also an energy where it's almost like a choice, because the cave leads you within. And so it's like you don't have to climb up the entirety of this mountain, but you do have to go within if you don't want to do that. And it's like, oof. Sometimes it's like, well, I'd rather keep climbing. I'd rather keep climbing. Go within. Ew, no. Excuse me. Have you seen my within? I'd rather climb. It's the climb. There's always gonna be another mountain. Or what she say? You're always gonna want to make it move. No problem, Steph. I feel like I've been a little less active. In reality, maybe I haven't been, but I feel like it. There's that stone again. The stone almost reminds me of the womb, but the stone, because the cards are like similar, but the stone is like it's a It's a dried up womb. It's no longer capable of giving birth to babies. It gives birth to pebbles, I guess, to rocks. But like, excuse me. Whatever you got to do for you, Steph, to take care of you, Steph, and to make sure that you're good, like no pressure, do it. If that means that you got to step back for some time because you got to take care of you, like do it. We will be here. Ooh, the shadow. Is that for the hummingbird? The shadow and the judge. 28 and 14. Oh, 14 times 2 is 28. I've had a 28-14 before. It was the jaguar, and because the jaguar is 28, and then is the curse number 14 and the mystical shaman? Because it was 28, 14, 15, and then it went up to like 30 something, 38, and then like 60 or 52, maybe. I don't remember. But I've had 28 and 14 recently. There is a decontextualization here because it feels like, even though it is the judge, it feels like the judge is able to separate the light from the dark to view each in its totality. But the shadow isn't able to separate one from the other. And so it constantly views them as like a function of each other. And so it's like it doesn't see either in its truth. It can't, because it's constantly making comparisons between them. Or something. You're good. You've been in hermit mode since September. Dark night of the soul for sure. Yeah. I feel like someone else, maybe I heard it, maybe I saw it somewhere. Someone else mentioned being in hermit mode. The hummingbird. Oh goodness. The hummingbird. Let's see. Where are you at, hummingbird? Hummingbird is at 118. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Why? 118. Hummingbird, I'm actually going to get your animal companion first because I just want to know who's tagging along with the hummingbird. Ooh, dragonfly at the cut. Who's tagging along with the hummingbird? It feels like the hummingbird is not alone. You are not alone. I'll be there with you. Though far apart, you're always in my heart. Oh. Who's with the hummingbird? Oof. Little bird, big bird. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot of people with the hummingbird, actually. The hawk, the cosmic egg, and the hawk is looking at the cosmic egg, the elk is looking at the cosmic egg, the snake is looking at the hawk. Like, birds eat snakes. Like, I know of Apep and Horus, question mark. Apep and whoever ate Apep to bring order to the world where Apep brought chaos. And it's like everything is looking in this direction, in the direction of the hummingbird, but the hawk is looking in the opposite direction. This is interesting. You had dragonfly and elephant today? Oh, I would love dragonfly and elephant. I love elephants because, shout out to Lord Ganesha. I'm not Hindu, but shout out to Ganesha. Also Kalima. Those are my big two. And I guess Shiva, because Shiva is coming out now, but especially Lord Ganesha and Kalima. We're gonna have to figure out what this is. The cosmic egg feels like potential. The elk feels like an energy that would protect the potential. The hawk feels like an energy that would see that potential put to use in some way. And so it's almost like hawk is like, come on, like we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And the elk is like, no, just like give them time. Give them time. They're not ready yet. Give them time. Give them time. And the hawk is like, well, we got stuff to do like last Thursday. No pressure, but when you gonna be ready? And the elf is like, they'll be ready when they're ready. Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Daughter of Swords, but I'm not taking it. You may actually not get a destination. Hummingbird. Well, you're a bird. You can be anywhere. You can be all over the planet. Maybe I'll get one more. Maybe I won't. So I am going to go for an aspect of self, though. There is something about this energy that almost hasn't. It almost feels like it hasn't decided what it wants to be yet. In a way. So let's see what the hawk wants from self. What would the hawk like? Like one card would be perfect. Because I am trying to sleep at some point. Two cards, that's fine. What does the elk want? Well, it feels like already the elk is like face up, the hawk is face down. The lover and the father is what the elk wants, which is interesting because the King of Pentacles is a deer elk thing. It's a deer, it's a buck. The King of Pentacles. The hawk wants the creator in the comic. This is 22. This is 26. 22, 26. Here's a 2. This is 17. This is interesting. It feels like these energies though, because this is an energy that would be like, good night, Steph. No, you're fine. You're fine. If I could go to sleep, I would too. Don't blame me. Have a great night. It feels like this is an energy that's just like, like it feels a little bit like purpose versus pleasure. Like this is an energy that's like I want to have a family, like I want to be set, like I want to be taken care of, I want to have a family, I want to have a house, like happy times. This is an energy, it feels like mission, it feels like purpose, like I was created in this lifetime to do this and this. And even though this says the comic, like this is a sad cat, it looks like a sad cat. So it actually feels like with this energy, like there's a happiness, there's a lightheartedness that would have to be sacrificed in order to be all of what this creator is. It's almost like, if you want to be an artist because you enjoy art and then you go to art school and someone's like, art isn't about the enjoyment of it, art is about the whatever, right? And it's like, wow, like, so like you're kind of turning this into work. And here I thought I would just pursue art because I enjoyed it. And it doesn't have to be just art, but it does feel like there's some kind of pressure here that takes the joy or the fun out of what it was that you were like intending to do in the first place. And so maybe the seven of cups is almost like stuck between a rock and a hard place. But it is almost because if you don't go to bed, is that the bell that Cindy told me about? I'm just sorry. Hummingbird, back to you. Back to you, Hummingbird. Oof, I'm gonna have to comment on that video if I can. Like, oof, Cindy, I didn't know if this resonated in the moment, but for gosh darn sure do now. I see it now, girl. I ain't see it at the time because the notification didn't come through. But I knew the bell was a notification. It's like, no, don't go back there. We ain't doing that no more. That is not our path. That's not my path. Anyway, back to you. Back to you. I almost wanted to say Aquarius. Oof, oof, oof. Back to you, Hummingbird. That's hilarious. Sorry. Oh, now I'm distracted. Okay. Hummingbird. It feels like it's an energy of being between a rock and a hard place, but it feels like it's because you may not see that you can actually go both of these at the same time. But it feels like it's a lot of like either or, pros and cons. Like if I do this, I can't do that. But it's like you can do both. And it's almost like with these six cups facing with these six of cups facing the crescent moon, it's almost like each of these cups separately almost or they approach giving you enough light that the sun itself would provide. But it's like you can have it all in one cup and not have to sacrifice. I feel like there is a balance though. So I'm actually balancing act is a card in here, I think. So I'm gonna pull before and after balancing act. I'm pretty sure balancing act is a card in this deck. I think it is. I say I'm pretty sure, but I actually don't know. Yeah, there it is. So making a choice, balancing act, and spirit of place. 30, 11, and 4. 33, tears of joy. Peaks of joy, sorry. Peaks of joy, number 33 now. 22, 11, 33. So making your choices on this side, spirit of place is on this side. And I love this for spirit of place energy because this is like, well, like since I am incarnate on earth, I would like some physical earthly pleasure, such as, family, comforts, experiences. But over here, it's like, no, you got to sacrifice. You got to make that choice. It's possible to honor traditions and do it unconventionally. Oh, snap. Wait. You can't even see all this. It's fine. Pachamama came out with the council was at the bottom of the deck. It was Pachamama and something. I don't remember the other two, but there was something about deciding how we want to serve and how we use our gifts, if we use our gifts. And there is an energy. It's almost like with this 30, all of the emphasis is spent on, or all of the emphasis is directed towards like the spiritual realm, the energetic. With this 4, it's like all of the emphasis is on the physical. In the balancing act, we have a 1 on each side, so it brings them both into balance. But as an 11, it's like it moves them both forward rather than it being this is an energy. It feels like a storm, like it causes a lot of shifts and changes and everything else, but it's like it's detached, it's uninvested, it doesn't really care. It's like it comes in and it moves stuff. This energy, with it being the 4, it's almost like it falls into the comfort of the place and the comfort of the experience, to the point where it doesn't, like, it's like it gets complacent, to the point where it's like it doesn't strive for anymore. It gets very, very, very comfortable and it doesn't move. It's low key like a Torian energy, and this is low key I guess it would be easiest to call it Gemini Aries, a combination of the two. But it is all about this balance. So, hey Siri, flip a coin.
It's tails.
Darn it! I wanted it to be heads. I wanted it to be heads. So let's see what fate lies in wait. And I was gonna do one for each side, but I just want one card, please. Even though I'll probably get like 2. What fate lies in store? What fate? There we go. The Phantom. I got 2 cards. Darn it. The Phantom and the Mask. Masque? Or is it like Musk? This card comes to life as an unkillable, implacable specter. It will follow you wherever you go and may pass through walls in order to do so. With the Phantom. The Mask. Your opinion is irrevocably changed at the DM's discretion. Why is this almost low key? Low key. Why is this almost? What is it? It's the fox that's never caught and the dog that always. Because it feels like maybe there is some kind of attachment that finds you, and so you would like. It's like no matter what you do, it still recognizes you. It still follows you. But that isn't for this. I would say maybe that's just like a one-off message. an energy of like not being able to escape something or someone. Hopefully, it's not someone because oof. And it's like no matter what you do, they manage to somehow always find you. But beyond that, it's an energy of attachments. This card comes to life as an unkillable, implacable specter. It will follow you wherever you go and may. Specter, though? The thing about this phantom is like it can't hurt you. This phantom may actually be this hawk. Like, let's say you take a Torian approach where you're ignoring your gifts, you're ignoring your abilities. You're like, you know what? Like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just going to have me an ordinary, regular, degula, smegula life. Or it's like, I'm not doing this healing, I'm not doing that healing. But it feels like being constantly pursued by that energy. And it's like maybe you have grown, maybe you have evolved, maybe you have progressed, but the core of this like remains the same. That attachment or that aversion is still there. This honestly feels like spirit being like, hey, so like when you're gonna do this, when are you gonna do that? It's like when you know that there's something in your life that you need to stop doing it. And it's not necessarily guilt. It's just like you just like, okay, like when are you gonna stop? When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? And it's a nagging and persistent feeling. Now, if this is something different entirely, where it's like it feels like if it's something about constantly feeling a need to like prove yourself to others, or it's like if it's a validation thing, like I need to feel like I have some worth or value, so like you're doing, going, then that's something completely, because then this is like it comes in as a very dysmorphic energy where it's like you can't see yourself as you are. You always see yourself as you were. And so then it's like you're never satisfied and it becomes something worse than an obsession. And it's like you don't necessarily see why it's so troubling because again, it's like you see yourself as you were. And it's like, well, like it's a no-brainer. I need to do something. But it's like in reality, like you're not that person anymore. So like now it's become extreme. It wasn't extreme when you started because when you started, it was needed, it was necessary. But like now, it's reaching extreme. Take whichever, if either fits for you. Now, I'm gonna get an item. I almost want two, one for the first and one for the second, but we'll see. We'll see where these go. No problem, Holly. Have an excellent night. Enjoy the puppy cuddles. Ooh, especially. And I don't know if she don't necessarily like to cuddle either. So, so what is the item for these for this? Oof! It's the box. Oh, it's the box. Did I grab? I grabbed the wrong place. I grabbed the setting instead of the item. Oh my gosh. So it's the box. Like you're in the box. Again, it feels like with this phantom that can literally move through walls to get to you if it needs to, it feels like an energy of something you can't escape. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Rushing through your hair, rushing through your hair. Can you feel it? That's what Allie and AJ something. Don't let Somebody tell you that your life is over. Be every color that you are. It's because they say, like, you can't escape. You can't escape. Ooh, the gym. It's funny that I talked about dysmorphic energies and the GEM is here, but the JYM, the G could also be here for that energy. The gem feels like this Orphic egg. It feels like the potential. This is a potential inside of you. This is a very, very persistent hug. And maybe this isn't even the truth of the hawk's message. Maybe from bird and earthly pleasures, it's like do this and like there's not going to be any fun, there's not going to be any enjoyment in life, everything is going to be like serious or about this or about that. And it's like in reality that may, because I don't think the divine ask you to sacrifice happiness or comfort or pleasure. The divine may ask you to not like be so consumed by that you don't do anything. Much potato, but you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. Shout out to Awakening the Spirit, Cindy Pisces. I like. I was watching that as I was gonna take a nap, and I fell asleep during like the last half of that video. I woke up in the so I gotta go back and finish it. But anyway, it is an energy. It's like you're still going to be able to enjoy what it is that you work for, but it's like you don't stop working just because you fulfill or one need, because there will be more in life. And it's not for you to not desire anything so that you don't have to do anything. It's also interesting though, because it feels like there's a bird, like this gem is in a bird's nest, and you would think that the bird was like trying to hatch an egg, but it's actually a gem. Maybe the gem still is an egg, right? And you hatch out of it, just like you have a cosmic egg there. But it is this energy. It's almost like you already are a gem. You already are a treasure. You already hold immeasurable value. You just may not see it because maybe it's not necessarily we don't know how strong we are until we have to be that strong. But it does feel like hidden potentials, and it's almost have never existed yet. Have to be this, or maybe you haven't chosen yet. I don't know. In the circumstances that you have faced, and so maybe with those 6 cups facing the moon, it's like we can see pieces and aspects of who we are in all these different situations. Don't necessarily see ourselves in our entirety. It's an energy where it's like we know what we're capable of, but we don't see ourselves as like embodying that all the time. It's almost like, I can be a this when I have to be, or I can be that when I have to be. But it's like, okay, well, like, why don't you just be it outside of the circumstances and situations? Like, why not just be it? Now, oh, that's a 5611. 56 and 44. 44. Here's the 44. The 22. The balancing act is number 11. Was there a 55 somewhere? These are like all these little master numbers. It feels like this is like the top down view of a pyramid. And if you could see the top of the pyramid, it would look like that. But it also feels like you're going like down, like if the pyramid was octahedral question mark, then it's like you see like the thing on top, but it also like spirals downward. And that's the element of water. It's also interesting. You have air and earth. Air and earth with spirit in between. Oh my gosh. I just like literally just noticed that. And so there is almost this energy of like you finding the balance between the physical you and the ethereal you and fulfilling all of that. And I talked about this with Rob some time ago, and it came back up more recently. It's the energy of like, what does a gift that isn't being used feel like? And I think he said it maybe it manifests as like a lack of purpose. And it's like, well, like, what's a lack of purpose sort of manifest like? And it was this whole thing that I can't even remember at this point. But it is almost that energy of like, maybe maybe there's something for you to be doing. And if you aren't doing that, maybe that's why it feels like something is like constantly nagging at you, or maybe it feels like you're not quite who you know yourself to be. Because here it said the DM changes your appearance, right? Your appearance is irrevocably changed at the DM's discretion. Now, at the DM's discretion could mean that like one of your features is slightly different. And so you're just like, whoa. Like maybe like your appearance changing is like you shrink by 5 millimeters. And it's like it's just enough for it to be like slightly noticeable in some situations in your life, but it's not so much where you're like, yeah, something has definitely changed. And with this energy, it's almost like you can be changed and not even know that you were changed. And so then the phantom would be like this sneaking suspicion that something is different. It's like something is different. Something is different. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just like, but something has changed. Something is not the same. And like you're checking this and you're checking that. And it's like, well, everything seems to check out. Like nothing seems to have changed, but something did. And maybe there's something within you changed at a level that was so deep, it's almost like it hasn't made its way to the surface for you to know exactly what it is. Or that could also be the energy sometimes where it's like, if our physical appearance changed, depending on what it is, like we wouldn't even know it unless we encounter a mirror. It's only in the mirror that you would see that your eyes are a different color one day, right? Or that something happened to your nose. I don't know. It's not like your hands where like you can look at your own body and see. And so then maybe these are situations that sort of happen to show us how much we've changed, because otherwise it would be difficult for us to see. So it's almost, it feels like in that vein, it's almost an energy where it's like you are being liberated from, you've built an entire life inside of your comfort zone. Or it's like you formed some kind of bond or attachment that you wouldn't even know who or how to be outside of it. And then this hawk can be an opportunity for you to actually like experience more. But you would still have to or not you take it. There are a lot of things that this hummingbird could be. Is there any deck I haven't used? Not that I feel like I necessarily need it. Oh, look, the Sun and the Two of Cups at the cut. Aw. So let's just get some final clarifiers, question mark. Notes, things to think about. I'll give it 5 shuffles. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Oop. 1 more. Final shuffle. I mean, it feels pretty complete. So that's what I got. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And there it feels like there may be a little bit of hesitation to become something. But it's almost this energy of like you're not becoming something for no reason. It's like there are going to be things for you to do. There are going to be ways for you to apply yourself. It's not going to be like idle sort of energy. And it feels like it's going to move you forward in some impactful way to those around you in a meaningful way, but also it's going to come with like recognition for that. And recognition doesn't necessarily have to be from other people. Recognition could be like there's some improvement to your quality of life in some way. But it is, again, with the Seven of Cups, it's about you sort of like learning to be all of. Oh, I did pull one. Haha, lol. I forgot about that. Seven of Cups. It's about you learning to see yourself more fully outside of like who you can be in certain like special situations. And it's about bringing the fullness of you to the table. There is an energy though. I don't know how far back it happens, but it feels like in this making a choice card, both of these portals, both of these doors at some point will actually converge into the same path. So it's not that the choice doesn't matter, but it's almost this energy of like you'll get where you're going regardless. So don't worry too much about it. And that's all I got. So thank you for tuning in. Excuse me, if you watch this, I hope you find something of resonance. If you sat through the entirety of this, I hope you get something meaningfully useful out of it. But I guess that's interesting because Hummingbird, it was coming out with the energy of like something that goes in between realms. And that is kind of sort of here in this making a choice in that Seven of Pentacles or Seven of Cups energy. And it's almost reminding me, it's almost making me think of like Kingdom Hearts, where it's like when you go to a different place, you become, it's like your costume changes, your outfit changes, you become a slightly different version of yourself to match the spirit of that place. And I guess in that way, there almost is something about being able to call the spirit of with this creator energy, being able to call in a place by matching its spirit. But I don't know what that's about. What? They have 144,000 stones. Hey, Jesse Juxtapose. I think Cindy hit 144,000 subscribers. or something. Because I saw somebody earlier say 144K. And I was like, I think that was in Cindy's live. Let me check real quick and see how many subs she has. I'm pretty sure it was over there. I'm just like, oh, there's that number again today. Yeah, she's at 144K subscribers right now. So, all right. I don't even know if I should just sleep at this point or if I should get food. Anyway, I will catch y'all later. Maybe one day I'll do this in a more interactive way where you can actually like, because how I was planning it, it was like, we start somewhere and then you get to make choices as to like, obviously they may be face down, but it's like, are we going to place number one, number two, or number three? Do you pick item number 1, 2, or 3? Like which animal, like what's the nature of that place? What happens in this place? And then the deck of many things and the deck of many fates would be like the energy of what happens there outside of what we can necessarily control. But again, I don't know. It's all a work in progress. It's all a work in progress. Yeah, me too. Even though like I missed most of the live because I was doing homework, but it's fine. All right, have an excellent night or day, afternoon, evening, whatever, whenever.